All right, here's part two. So I should have probably put a trigger warning on the last video. I'm going to put a trigger warning here because I know content about other entities and demonic encounters and stuff like astral stuff can actually be really frightening for people. So please do be mindful of this. This entity, like this is the kind of thing I say, or excuse me, this is what I mean when I say people would have a hard time believing this unless they were there. This entity caused a huge poltergeist disturbance in my childhood home to the point that my parents were possessed long term and they have not returned from this state. This has caused a high amount of stress for me. I've seen entities in astral settings unaliving my parents, grinning at me as they do it. And this is not a human doing this. It's some kind of like goblin, demon, some kind of like it looks like a gargoyle. In this dream, this thing was pulling this is hard to say, right? It was pulling a blade across my dad's throat, looking at me and smirking. And I caught that as a message back then that my parents were possessed, that something took who they were, their essence, and destroyed it. I can testify that my parents are no longer the same as they were in the 90s. Something happened to them. This entity has followed me throughout my life, has caused issues in relationships. When I was a witch, and yes, I was a witch at one point before I understood what it meant. When I was a witch, I frequently would end up with guys who were sort of in the same community, psychic guys, guys who practiced witchcraft of their own. And unfortunately, these guys told me that an entity was showing up in their dream state, threatening them to leave me or their family would be unalived or whatever else. Now, at the time, I thought they were making up excuses for why they couldn't date me, as I was used to being left and ghosted. But this was one of the weirder things that made me question over time, is something seriously wrong? This entity has shown up since then in many more substantial ways to the point that I spoke about it on this channel. I had to bring it up because I know at this point that this is real. Um, that alone is so stressful to have to process that this is real. I can't explain this to normal people. Like, what I had to go through to accept this alone is insane. Part three is coming.